You dug a hole at the beach once, right? Deeper and deeper until water filled the bottom. And someone joked you'd hit the other side of the world. You laughed, but part of you did the math. How far down could a person actually go? Turns out, humans really tried to find out. Not with a shovel, with the biggest drill ever built. And what they found down there still isn't fully explained. Let's start with a number that feels wrong. Picture the Earth as a fruit in your hand. The crust we live on is thinner than the skin. Everything you've ever known sits on that skin. Every city, every ocean, every war, every person. Below it, thousands of miles we've never touched. We've sent probes past Pluto, billions of miles away. But straight down, we've barely scratched the surface. In the 1960s, that gap started to bother people. The space race was loud, public, everywhere. Two superpowers throwing rockets at the moon. But quietly, a second race was starting. A race in the opposite direction, straight down. The Americans went first with a plan called Borehole. The idea was simple and completely insane. Drill through the ocean floor to reach the mantle. The thin crust under the sea seemed like a shortcut. They drilled a few hundred meters, then ran out of money. Congress pulled the plug, and Borehole died quietly. The Soviets watched this and saw an opening. In 1970, on a cold peninsula near Norway, they began. A place called Kola, flat and gray and forgotten. No cameras, no crowds, just a drill and a plan. The plan was to dig deeper than anyone, ever. Here's the part that surprises everyone. The hole they made was shockingly narrow. Not a pit, not a shaft you could climb. About 9 inches wide, narrower than a dinner plate. A single straw pushed miles into the planet. For the first few years, things went well. The drill chewed downward, meter by meter, past anything a mine had ever reached. Then they passed the deepest gold mine on Earth, and they were still just getting started. By 1979, they'd broken the world record, the deepest hole humans had ever made. And the drill kept going down into the unknown. Now remember, I said they found something strange. Around 6 kilometers down, the samples came up, and the scientists stopped and looked again. Inside solid rock, miles below the surface, was life. Not living life, fossils, tiny ocean plankton, 24 species of microscopic sea creatures, perfectly preserved in rock 2 billion years old. This was once a seabed, now buried impossibly deep, the whole surface of an ancient world folded under. But that wasn't even the strangest discovery. Everyone expected the deep rock to be bone dry. Squeeze rock that deep and water shouldn't survive. Instead, they found the rock was soaked with water. Not water that trickled down from above. Water forced out of the minerals themselves by pressure, trapped down there for billions of years. Then came the discovery that rewrote the textbooks. Geologists had mapped the crust using sound waves. They'd send a boom and listen to the echo. At one depth, the echo always changed sharply. Everyone assumed it meant the rock type changed, a hard granite layer giving way to basalt. So, they drilled down to see this famous boundary, and the boundary simply wasn't there. No basalt, just cracked, water-soaked granite going on. The line on every map was a ghost. The sound didn't bounce off a new rock. It bounced off rock so squeezed it had changed. A whole layer that existed only in our theories. Think about that for a second. We'd drawn confident diagrams of a place we'd never seen, and the first time we looked, we were wrong. It's the deep earth version of a familiar feeling, like being sure where you parked, walking over confidently, and finding an empty space and a sinking stomach. The map in your head, quietly, was fiction. By now, the hole was past 9 miles deep, and that's when the planet started to fight back. Remember, the deeper you go, the hotter it gets. The engineers had planned for the heat. Their chart said around 100 degrees down there. The reality was nearly double that. Around 180 degrees Celsius, hot enough to cook. But heat alone wasn't the thing that beat them. It was what the heat did to the rock. Down there, under that heat and crushing weight, solid rock stopped behaving like solid rock. It got soft, almost plastic, like warm candle wax. They'd drill a hole, pull the bit out, and the rock would slowly ooze the hole shut. The planet was closing the wound behind them. Every new stretch took longer than the last. The drill bits wore out in hours, not weeks. Each one had to travel 9 miles up and back. A single round trip took most of a day. Progress slowed from meters to inches. By 1989, they reached their final depth. Just over 12,000 meters, 7.5 miles, the deepest hole human beings have ever dug. They'd planned to go nearly twice as far, but the Earth, quietly, had said no. And here's the number that puts it all in place. That record-breaking hole, the deepest we've ever made, went less than 0.25% to the center. Take a full day's walk. That hole is one step. The straw barely broke the skin of the fruit. In the 1990s, the money ran out too. The Soviet Union collapsed and funding vanished. The site was abandoned, the equipment left to rust. In 2005, they welded a metal cap over the top. The deepest point mankind ever reached, sealed with a lid. You can still visit it, a rusty bolted plate. Nothing to see, just cold ground and silence. And under your feet, that thread going down forever. There's a rumor this hole recorded the sounds of hell. It's a hoax, but you can see why it's stuck. Because the real story is stranger than the myth. We reached for the center of our own planet, and we barely dented the doorstep. If tiny stories about the vast unknown are your thing, subscribe. Next time you stand on solid ground, remember, solid is just the part we haven't looked under yet.